Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Anita Library. I'm Anita and this is my library. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Anita Library. I'm Anita and this is my library. So today I've decided to do the BookTube newbie tag. I feel like if you've only been on YouTube for a year and under, you can still do this. So I fit. It's only been a couple of months. So I wasn't gonna do the tag. I was like, but if you're curious to know how I ended up here, what my likes and dislikes are, my preferences are, my inspirations are, just my whole bookish vibe, then stay tuned. If you like tags, because I have at least one more ready to go for you guys. If you like tags or just questions about people's book interests and stuff, give the video a thumbs up and I will definitely move that to the top of the list so I can get those out for you guys, because I'm on the fence. I'm not sure if I like tags or I don't know. We'll see. So if you like this style of video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you like the vibe, if some of the questions kind of suit your interests, match your vibe as well. Definitely consider subscribing before moving on. Other than that, let's get into the tag. Why'd I do that? I don't know. Okay, so number one. Why did you start this channel? I'm gonna be honest with you, I just wanted book friends. I just wanted more book friends. I have like a small community of book friends at work, but we're like kind of geographically separated, so I have to make the trek to like go chit chat with them about stuff. And then the people who work with me in my building care literally nothing about books. So it's been really hard for me to connect with people who do like books. So I feel like if you're on BookTube, clearly the potential for friendshipness is higher than just bumping into someone on the street. Although I will say, this has nothing to do with the question, I'm rambling, but I get such an urge to make friends with people at the bookstore. Like if I'm looking around and I have a book in my hand, like I kind of want to look at what's in their cart, you know what I mean? And like talk to them, but I don't know if they want to like you're at the gym, like don't look at me, don't talk to me type of thing, or are you in the bookstore low-key hoping someone looks in your cart and sparks up a conversation about what books you have? Like, I don't know. I almost did the last time I was at the bookstore. Next time I will, because I kind of regret not doing that. But yes, I started the channel to make book friends. Number two, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? I think that I make it a point to look for books that I haven't heard of, look for books that are different than the types of things that I see on book social media. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, no one's read this but me type of deal, but if things are already like super hyped, like I don't necessarily feel like you need me to further the hype about it. But if you are on BookTube and you're looking for somebody who has interest the same as you, and like maybe I've read a couple of those popular books, but I'm also prioritizing finding books that are a little bit more like niche or haven't been talked about, or at least recently or something like that, and you see my priority in the styles of books that I like, hopefully like I'm filling that niche for some people, because I definitely when I come across people on book content on book social media that are talking about books and authors that I've never seen, or that are like brand new, so debut books, they're black authors, they're women authors, most authors are women, but or they're a certain genre and they're like for example like black women writing adult fantasy. Let me find a black woman author who writes adult fantasy. I'm all over it. Like I don't even care what the synopsis is, what the tropes are. I want to see it. So like that's the type of thing that I'm looking for like actively. So if I find it, I'm definitely willing to share it with you guys. So I think that's a little bit different. Number three, what are you most excited for about this new channel. Same thing as number one, book friends, and kind of mixing in number two, just mixing the two. Like if we're book friends and then we know each other's taste, and you see something, for example, a Black woman author writing about adult fantasy, and you find it, you're like, oh, Anita's been looking for that, let me tell her in the comments. Like, yes, I hope the day comes, or if I find it, I will run to this camera so fast to tell you guys if that's something that you're looking for, like be it anything, like dark academia. I love dark academia books. Oh my gosh, I'm considering making a video about those in the future. But yes, like something like that. So if our styles align, whatever, like yes, I'm so excited for the like information flow to get going. Number four, why do you love reading? It is very stimulating. It's very stimulating, and in a way, I feel like I can kind of turn my brain off, you know? Like, I suffer from anxiety, and like while I'm reading, I never have an anxious thought while I'm reading. I am like in the world, in the mind and body and space and like environment and feelings of the characters in the books. Like I'm not worried about irrational worries that normally would happen in my head. Like I am in this book, and it is very much escapism. It like fills me with like satisfaction for some reason. Like I feel like I'm being productive even if it's not like in a nonfiction book. Like I still feel like I'm being productive reading fantasy books, reading dark academia books, reading romance books. Like I feel like I'm doing good for humanity or something. Like it feels so good. Like I hope I'm explaining that, like you get me, hopefully you get me. But I love it, love it, love it, love it. Number five, what book or series got you into reading? So I won't go through like my whole reading journey. If you want to know, leave it in a comment down below and I'll definitely share that with you in a later video. But I'm just gonna go off of like my current surge or like resurgence of interest in reading. So this year, like I used to love reading, you know, years ago, and I was like, I want to get back into it. Like I remember how that made me feel, and it was so fun, it was so fulfilling and satisfying. I want to prioritize my free time with reading. So this year, I found book social media, and I was like, like so overwhelmed, and I was like, I don't know any of this. I don't know what I like. You know, like it's been so many years since I've read anything, and it was all over the place. I read fiction, I read nonfiction, I read historical fiction, I read sci-fi, like all over the place, and I could just kind of pick up anything and vibe with it. But this year I've really like expanded and learned more about myself, like my reading styles. Hopefully I'm not answering another question because I'm rambling. But the first book that I read this year that kind of like said, all right, like I want more of this, was 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Tia Williams is now a autobi author for me. She's so unique. Now, I say this as saying like I haven't been reading for years and years and years, like a recent past. So I'm a little far removed from like the book community or whatever, or like what's cool and hip in the book world. But for me, like my taste and what I've read in the past, what I'm reading now, Tia Williams is so unique, and I love her perspective on it. She writes like a poet. Like, does she write poetry? Let me find out. She writes so beautifully and like captures you with like the vibe and the aura and the hearts and souls of the characters, and you cannot help but love every single one of them. I love every single character that she's written about, except for like the family members in A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. Like they were not lovable at all. Maybe they deserve a redemption arc. I don't think that Tia Williams would do something like that, but anywho, 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. I am a rambly girl. What is next? Number 6, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Where do you get your ideas? Where do you get your book booktube content ideas, because I pride myself on like being a new booktuber and putting out content like frequently. I try to put out content like 3 times a week. I try, but it's normally in the form of like a long form video. I suck at shorts and reels and like pictures on my Instagram. Like I'm so not consistent, or like I don't know what to put. So just how do you get inspired, or how do you get ideas for like those short form things, or even like long form content? Because I just, maybe I'll get to it in the future, but obviously like I'm new to this and I really want to keep like my bubble, you know what I mean? And like I'm just not really willing to go out with this ginormous camera and microphone all over it and like go to Books A Million and Target. Like I'm just not ready. So I'm restricting myself to staying at home and filming, or like, you know, in the backyard or in the car or something like that. Like I can do that, but what I'm not ready to do, I'm not saying I'm not willing entirely, but what I'm not ready to do is like go to the library and like go to the bookstore and like go to the pool and ask people what they're reading. Like I'm not there. So in the confines of like what I'm comfortable with right now, where do you get your ideas? So next, number 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Probably along the lines of what I just answered, just kind of running out of creative ideas. And I've only been doing this for like 5 seconds. And I think it's even more difficult for me, challenging, because like I said, I've limited myself right now. I'm sure like maybe once I reach a certain point, I'm like, all right, I'm more comfortable. I'm even getting more comfortable in front of the camera, to be honest with you. I used to like sit here like I was making a presentation, and I think I'm getting better about just not feeling like I'm talking to myself. So I'm learning, but I do think like getting out in public will help me, and just getting comfortable with that. Also like the editing process, I'm getting better, and I'm so happy and proud of myself, but I'm considering getting like different editing software, and I don't know, maybe something will make it go a little bit quicker. We'll see. But so right now, just like getting way out of my comfort zone and like filming in public is probably going to be the hardest to overcome. Number 8, when did you start reading? Kindergarten? No, just kidding. For all intents and purposes, this year, it was a New Year's resolution for me to get back into reading. So my goal was to read 3 books a month originally, and I didn't really read anything in January, and then I think February is when I read my first book, and then I was freaking hooked. So February, I want to say, of this year, I got back into reading. Number 9, where do you read? Girl, everywhere but like in the shower. I don't like, I could put headphones on and listen to audio tape or whatever, but I don't do that in the shower. But literally everywhere else. I read in the bed, I'll read cooking dinner, I'll listen to audiobook in the car, I'll read on my couch, I'll read at work. I've read at the car dealership, getting an oil change. Like bringing my Kindle with me makes it a lot easier to read like on the go like that, instead of like pulling out your phone and scrolling on social media. So pull out your Kindle and keep reading your book. So literally nowhere is off limits except for me in the shower. Number 10, what kind of books do you like to read? I like to read romance books. I like to read fantasy books. Most of the fantasy books I've read are YA fantasy. I don't know if Court of Thorns and Roses is YA or if it's adult. You know what, never mind, it's adult. I'm tripping, it's adult. I'm on the 5th book, 5 of 5 of Court of Thorns and Roses right now. I'm about halfway through with it. So I've read that series. And anyways, fantasy. I'm rambling. Jeez, I need to work. That's the hardest part about YouTube, not rambling. I like fantasy, I like romance, I like thrillers. Every once in a while, I'll probably read 1, maybe 2 thrillers a month. But I do like those. I like historical fiction. I really, really like historical fiction. It makes me feel a lot. Probably second to romance books, depending on the author. It makes me feel a lot. And again, I probably read 1, maybe 2 of those a month because they're heavy. Like, I don't read historical fiction if it doesn't have Black people in it. I really can't put a finger on why, but I want to read Black stories, I want to read Black stories, period, but especially historical fiction. I don't have any historical fiction that is not by a Black author, that is not about Black stories, or that's not about Black stories. So, and if you're talking about Black history in America, it's probably going to be a little bit hard to read, but when I'm in the mood for that, like, it makes me feel, and that's what I want when I'm pulling up one of those. Like, I want to feel, I want to experience, I want to learn, I want to be enlightened. So I do like historical fiction, and then I think that's it. Fantasy, and then contemporary fiction. I do read contemporary fiction sometimes. Again, most of the times it is Black stories, Black authors. I'm just, in general, Black stories, Black authors. I prioritize reading those just because I feel a sense of connectedness. I feel seen. A lot of the things that Black people, to my knowledge anyway, I won't obviously speak for all of us, that we've experienced, like, Black authors write about them, and they like present them in artistic ways. They present them in ways that make you feel how they're feeling, and it hits a little bit harder just having that like shared culture and commonality. I feel so seen and understood and validated in some of the experiences that I've read about in Black stories written by Black authors. So not to say that I don't have stories that are not by Black authors, I definitely do, but probably 2/3, if not more, of my collection is Black stories by Black authors, and I absolutely love it. Like, looking at my shelves, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. So I read a little bit of everything, but I do try to read diversely. I like queer stories. I like stories about women with different bodies. I like stories about biracial couples. Like, I want to learn. I want to see and experience and feel all the things. So those are the types of books that I like. And then lastly, what does your book collection look like? Where are we at on time? All right, real quick, I'll show you. Okay, so I have 2 bookshelves. Well, 3, but mainly 2. So this bookshelf is the books that I have read. Please do not judge me, that is so barren. As I told you, I just started back reading this year, okay? And prior to this, I would just reread books over and over and over, which is why I've read some of my books 3 times. So this is what I've read mostly this year. And then this middle shelf is honestly just like games, and there we go. It's just games and Harry Potter stuff and my graphic novels. I don't have that many, but there's that. So I don't really count this as like a bookshelf, because 9 times out of 10 when I'm picking a book, it's not from this shelf. But then, whoopsie, I have this shelf, which again, do not judge me for how much more full this shelf is than the other one, but this is my unread bookshelf. So I will just give you again like a brief overview of my shelves. Okay, I think that's everything in the frame. Sorry, it's a little wobbly. I'm just gonna go ahead and hold the camera because I said this is gonna be quick. So this is my top shelf. It's my romance shelf. I organize my books by genre and also by author's last name. So I have the Dreamland Billionaires series first. I absolutely freaking love it. Fast, the next book by Millie, Bellizaire. My favorite book of all friggin' time. I could not show you my books without pointing that one out. And then my last favorite book of all time is Mina's Joint by Keisha Irvin. So that's also on this shelf. Then next here we have more romance. I have Kennedy Ryan. Everyone loves her. She's awesome. Things we never got over. I am not a fan of that book. I'm so not a fan that I'll probably never buy or read another Lucy Square book ever again. Along with binding 13 and keeping 13, I'm not a fan of the writer's writing style at all. It was a ginormous cliffhanger at the end of the first book, so I had to know what the heck happened after that, because it was just a whole lot of nothing, and and then we have probably my favorite author, Tia Williams, and then finally Nicola Yoon, which that book, it looks cute. It looks cute and sweet. Don't be fooled, okay? I was in shambles at the end of that. So that's a romance shelf as well. This shelf is, I'm gonna consider it just plain old fiction. I have some classics here, so I won't just call it contemporary fiction, I have classics. I also have some historical fiction in here, so until I kind of read more and I need to expand the shelf, then I'm just gonna kind of lump all the classical fiction, historical fiction, contemporary fiction, all that's gonna kind of stay right here until I need more space. Then I have my lovely little fantasy shelf. If you know, I've been so intimidated by fantasy books for the longest time. So I have a lot of fantasy books, and you'll be like, Anita, you're intimidated? Why do you have so many? I don't know. But this is what I've read so far. I think it's not bad. For someone who's intimidated and just started reading this year, like, this is not bad. Okay, don't judge me. This is good. Then finally I have my thrillers. Honestly, there are 2 books on the shelf that I have not read, and I didn't realize that very much until just now. My Lovely Wife and Dark Places. I have not read those yet, but the rest of them I have read. Frieda McFadden, if you know, you know. She is a very easy page turner. Like, I think they call them popcorn thrillers. Like, it's so easy to read. If you are a scaredy cat, Frieda McFadden is the way to freaking go. If you are in a reading slump, Frieda McFadden is the way to go. Before that, we have here Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. Baby, you need to have your book girl panties on when you read any Tiffany D. Jackson book, okay? She's not coming to play with you, and she's gonna hit you over the head with some deep, tough topics. Even though they're YA, she writes in the YA category, but if you don't like YA, you'll still like Tiffany D. Jackson. If you like a thriller, if you like a mystery, if you like deep topics, definitely give her a try. And then Their Vicious Games, that was on my shelf for the longest time, and I finally read it this month. 5 stars. Do yourself a favor, read that freaking book. It's so good. And it's dark academia. Yes, it fueled my love even more for dark academia. So these are the books that I have read, with the exception of that one. All right. Now, this bookshelf is organized much in the same way. The top shelf is romance. I think I ended up, no, I did go into the second shelf for this one as well. So the top shelf is, to the best of my categorization skills, it's romance. A lot of these are authors that I really haven't explored yet. Some of them are favorites, some of them are debut. For example, that Maya Ariel book, the first one, When I Think of You, that is her debut, and it comes highly rated. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one. Hopefully I get to that one soon. let's see, I've got The Air He Breathes by Brittainy Cherry. I've heard really awesome things about that, so I do want to get to that one because it's a part of a 4-element series, so hopefully I like that. I've read one book of hers, the mixtape, and it was so good. I think I rated it 4 stars, so I'm not scared to read any more of her books. Jackson Guillory is my feel-good writer. I'll definitely go to her for the feels. I've got a Mimi Grace book there, Take a Hike. I want all of her books. I know I haven't read any so far, but I get the feeling I'm going to love her. I really am. So that is on my list to buy like her whole collection. I think she's got 4 other books, 3 more in this series, or 2 more in this series, and then 1 more book. I misspoke. Let's see, I've got the Abby Jimenez trilogy. Yes, I haven't read any of them. One of them was on my TBR for June. I read 1 chapter. I'm not gonna say that it was bad. It wasn't bad. I didn't feel like it, so I put it back on the shelf and ended up reading something else. A lot of these books are books that I've just recently hauled in my like ginormous big book haul. So if you want to know more about them, for example, A Love Like the Sun, On Rotation, Finding Jupiter, I did talk about those in that book haul, so go check that out if you're interested in some more details on some of these books. Not all of them, obviously, but it was over 30 books, so chances are it's probably in the haul. Where's my finger? Here. These books are also considered romances for me. I just kind of ran out of space on the top shelf there, and that's that. So then from here on, we have historical fiction. Well, no, here to here is historical fiction. Like I said, these are probably going to give me the feels. Actually, Mary Monroe is supposed to be freaking hilarious. Oh, that's her name. That's the title of the dang author. My bad. Mrs. Wiggins by Mary Monroe. That one is supposed to be hilarious. My best friend sent that one to me, and it sounded way too good to pass up. I have it on my Kindle, and then I also found it on sale in my Books A Million, so I picked it up there, but I'm really excited about that one. Then here on this end we have, I'm just gonna lump this into regular fiction again because I do have like a classic in there, Fahrenheit 451, but most of these are Black stories. Yeah, most of these on the shelf are definitely Black stories. So as I was saying earlier, like it's kind of my vibe and my niche when I'm looking for certain types of stories. Here, as like strange as it's gonna sound, it's probably like my favorite shelf. I don't know if it's by the way that it looks or just like my level of interest, but it makes me feel so freaking happy to look at. Now, if you can tell, this is the only shelf that is like full, right? Like this one, you can fit more books. That one you can definitely fit more books. This one's full. It's nonfiction for the most part, but yeah, this one's kind of full to the brim. So when I was telling you earlier on my red bookshelf, like, how are you so intimidated by fantasy, Anita, when you have literally an entire shelf full of fantasy? I don't want to talk about it. So I have the Children of Blood and Bone series here. I'm very interested in that one. I almost read The Poisons We Drink this month, and I ended up going a different route. Let's see, Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron. I've read 2 of her books that are over there on my fantasy shelf, so I do enjoy her writing so far. I've got the second book, Bloodmarked, here. I have the first book on another shelf I'll show you in a second. I haven't read it yet, but I do have both of those. I've got Powerless and Divine Rivals. I'm so interested in those, and I do like that they're standalones. So I'm lying. They're not standalones. They definitely have sequels. At the time when I bought them, I think they were standalones. I don't want to talk about it. Then I have Scythe. That was almost a read for me as well in June, and I ended up not getting to it right away. But that is near the top of my list for like highly anticipated reads. And then Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Once I get through my Sarah J Maas series, I might dip into those. I don't know, but I have heard nothing but good things about the Rebecca Yarros series, for real. Then this is another favorite shelf. This is my thrillers. I have a couple of books by Frieda Bikayamide. I think I'm saying her name right. I hope I'm saying her name right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. But she's got some dark academia books, so obviously she's gonna be a favorite. I haven't read any of her books yet, but just because she's barking up my tree, yes. Then I have Bunny by Mona Awad. It is like a thriller, and I mean not a thriller, it's a horror book, and I haven't quite read a horror book yet. So I'm intrigued, but I'm also scared. But the book looks so cute. Yeah, I wish I could like pull out the cover for you guys, but maybe I'll pop it up on the screen for you. But it just looks so cute, but I'm also really scared. Then another highly anticipated read is The School for Good Mothers. It sounds absolutely crazy, like a woman who's a mother, obviously, has a, well, I'll talk about it in my book haul, my big book haul. So if you want to know more about that one, definitely check out that. And then The Reformatory, that is an imminent read because I have the physical book, obviously. I just got on my Libby subscription the audiobook and the ebook, so that makes it so much more accessible to me, especially considering this is a hardback that I have here. So that is an imminent read for sure because I'm gonna need to return those soon. Here I've got one more Frieda McFadden book to be read, and then also a Tiffany G. Jackson book to be read. Like I said, I gotta have my big girl panties on when I read that one. And then at the end here, I just have a couple of more thrillers. Another one by Nicola Yoon, who this is her first adult novel, and it says, I think it was like Get Out meets Stepford Wives. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to read that. So excited. And then down here, it's a bit of a hodgepodge. Mostly nonfiction. I have some like workbooks, self-workbooks towards the left there, and then some like reference books. Then I have some like memoirs and autobiographies. I have some poetry, a book that I wrote myself that I don't want to talk about. And then at the end there, we have some Greek mythology. It's like an anthology, and then I have the Iliad and the Odyssey, which I've read the Odyssey. I have not yet read the Iliad, but it's on my list. And my camera is dying, so let me turn you around and close out the video really quick. Okay, so the camera's dying, and I just want to make sure I get to close out the video before I let you guys go. But that was my BookTube newbie tag and a very quick tour of my bookshelves. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you like tags, you want me to do more, please give it a thumbs up and I will squeeze that right on in, and I'll find more questions to answer for you guys. Or if you have questions yourself, just leave them down below and I will get back to you. Or if there's enough, then I'll make just another video about them. And I hope you consider subscribing before you go. And other than that, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.